support to fight poverty and insecurity in Nigeria. Oil marketers meet President Bola Tinubu express support for fuel subsidy removal. Commodities export will grow Nigeria's economy, says the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Leah Katung Babatunde. You're welcome. We begin the business of the day by informing you that President Bola Tinubu has called on the European Union to help his administration fight against poverty and insecurity in Nigeria and Africa. President Tinubu made the call in a statement signed by his spokesman Abuja, appealing on the EU to assist Nigeria and Africa in strengthening security and economic development to alleviate poverty. According to Oladunjoye, the president spoke during a telephone conversation with the president of the European Council, Charles Michel, where he noted that Nigeria and Africa would require the help and partnership of her friends and development partners like the EU to address the excruciating poverty on the continent. President Tinubu further appealed to the EU to look at specific areas of security challenge like the Lake Chad and coastal areas. The Nigerian leader promised to remain in contact with the European Union and other member states. And the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, has expressed support for the decision of the federal government to finally end the fuel subsidy regime. Members of the association were led by Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State to the presidential villa on a visit to President Bola Tinubu.
We're committed to ensuring that we ensure competitiveness, fair pricing, and also services that the populace will be very happy about. The removal of subsidy will unleash the potential of Nigeria. It's going to unleash a lot of resources, that will now be used in education, infrastructure.
And we are confident that once this 4 trillion naira per annum burden is, out of the window, it would enhance, our faculty allocations as different states.
At providing real mass transit buses that work, the ones that will run on CNG, which is the compressed natural gas and diesel, interchangeably. And hopefully we're going to start with about 50 to 100, and that is in the very, very short term. And these are locally produced. So you see that we're also providing jobs, a lot more jobs, because we're using local assembly plants. We're not importing this. That's less pressure on our foreign exchange, and that's more jobs for our Nigerians.
So both the government intervention and their own interventions complementing each other will seriously uplift the masses from whatever envisaged.
Now we take a step into agriculture, where it is crucial to economic growth, accounting for 4% of global gross domestic product, and in some least developing countries it can account for more than 25% of GDP. And since its development is one of the most powerful tools to end extreme poverty, boost shared prosperity, and feed a projected 9.7 billion people by the year 2050, growth in the agriculture sector is 2 to 4 times more effective in raising incomes amongst the poorest compared to other sectors. Nigeria has been the major and largest producer of tomatoes in Africa, though storage and processing has always been the challenge. Now, this year, the producers of the fruits were hit by a pest known as Tuta absoluta that destroyed plantations across the producing states. It was estimated that the farmers lost tomatoes worth more than 1.3 billion naira. This is therefore that has affected the price of the produce, with the basket being sold above 70,000 naira. And so on the program today, our satellite is on vegetable production and its economic value. And of course, I have joining me the National President, Tomatoes Farmers and Processors of Nigeria, Abdullahi Ringim. He joins us virtually from Jigawa State. You are welcome, Mr. Abdullahi, to Business Express.
Thank you.
And how is it say this morning?
Hello.
I'm asking,
hello.
How is Dulce this morning?
Well, it's fine. It's fine and cold. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'm hoping that the cold will be good for fruits. But anyways, Nigeria is said to be hit with scarcity and high cost of tomatoes. And yes, yours truly has actually experienced that in recent times. So how bad is this situation? Can you paint a scenario for us?
It's pretty bad, actually, because Tuta absoluta, the manifestation of the pest, has been a recurring event over some years. And this time around, actually, is quite devastating. Farmers lost, like you mentioned in the report, about between 1.3 to 1.5 billion naira worth of tomato. So it's quite devastating.
Can you speak to this situation? What exactly are the factors responsible for this, and how bad has it affected the economy and the well-being of farmers?
Well, first and foremost, it's as a result of heat. Usually, the pests survive between 33 to 40 degrees when the weather is quite hot. And it's overnight. It comes at night, and overnight, the whole farm or the whole sector of the tomato growing area is wiped out. Sometimes also it's resistant to certain chemicalization of the tomato. So it's quite devastating. But the saddest part of it is that it's a recurrent decimal. So it has happened before and it's happening again.
If it has happened before, what were the lessons learned at that time, and how do we ward off this sort of scenario for future time?
Well, first, I think I will say that efforts made were just to make sure that farmers are galvanized and the chemicals are applied. But oftentimes, even the pests, these chemicals. As a way of going forward, I think there is need to have a free sensitization of the farmers, so as to identify any pest that appears in their farm. Sometimes they don't even know that this particular pest has appeared, so there is need for sensitization. There is also need for going forward for a rapid response. The farmers, the government, all the stakeholders cannot wait until the manifestation happens, because by that time it's too late. So since we know, like I keep saying, it's a recurring decimal, then we should be able to prepare for it. So as the moment it manifests, immediately action is taken. These are the immediate and the medium terms measures. The long-term measures should, of course, involve more and more establishment of processing industries. So as immediately the tomato is harvested, it is also immediately processed.
Now that you've talked about process, why is it so difficult for us to get it right in terms of processing and storage of tomatoes?
Well, there are several reasons. One, there is a tomato policy that was approved by the Federal Executive Council. It contains measures that will promote the establishment or the backward integration of most of the packaging companies back into process. There was resistance, of course, by the packaging companies because they are import dependent. They prepare to import tomato paste to the detriment of our farmers. So they resisted it, and the association and to some extent, some agencies of the governments have been fighting on that. Some, however, have succeeded in backward integrating, and that has succeeded in minimizing the post-harvest losses and all that. But again, in addition to that, you find that there is the problem of smuggling of the pest in order to avoid paying both the duty, which has been increased from 10% to 50%, and the tomato levy. Again, there was a very bad news recently when some official jettisoned the tomato policy by approving waivers to certain specific companies to import the pest. And some of these companies do not even have processing line. And we have protested, we have written to the government, and we are going to continue to advise the government against such policy somersaults.
So when we're looking away from that, you're talking about policies now, and really we're going to see some significant price changes, basic economics at that, following the fuel subsidy removal. Can you help us to understand what is before Nigerians, and with the tomato situation, how will these be affecting the pricing pattern?
Well, if you look at
the
tomato value, first and foremost, the farmer grows his tomato at the farm, then it is conveyed to the selling point, or whether this selling point is a market or the selling point is a processing plant. There is a cost of transportation. If you transport the tomato from Kano, for instance, to Onitsha or to Lagos, and the price of conveying it has tripled or quadrupled, obviously the price will hike. If there is also the problem of transporting it to the processing plant gate, the off-takers gate, there is also cost of transportation. So basically, there is issue of hike in pricing of delivering the tomato along the value chain. So that is one area that the price will be affected. The second area is the cost of the removal, the PMS, for companies that use smaller processing plants that uses petrol, not diesel, because diesel has long been subsidy has long been withdrawn. So to that extent also, that will be partially affected.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you for making out time to join us on the program this morning. I've been speaking with Abdullahi Rengem of the Tomatoes Farmers and Processors. He's actually the president of that association. Thank you for coming on the program this morning, and do have a nice day.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Great. And so let's see how commodities are trading around the world. prices edge higher as Saudi Arabia's surprise weekend pledge to deepen output cuts outweighed weak Chinese export data and rising U.S. fuel stocks. Brent crude futures were up 81 cents at $77.10 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 85 cents to $72.64. As the President Bola Tinubu-led administration hit the ground running with well-spelled out areas of focus and strategic policies to revamp the nation's economy, a cross-section of experts believe that Lagos, the center of excellence, is critical to the actualization of this vision for maximum growth and development of the country.
It is a new dawn for the country and her citizens, especially a place like Lagos, the commercial nerve of the nation's economy, believed to contribute about 30% to the nation's GDP. The new administration has commenced work in earnest. It is therefore very pertinent for a city like Lagos, which by design and its unique characteristics houses critical infrastructure such as the Apapa and Lekki deep sea ports, Dangote refinery, rail transportation, among other industries and commercial activities necessary for revenue generation and considered indispensable to the economic growth of the country. Some Lagosians suggest areas of concentration for the government to boost economic sustainability.
Focus on price control. There is a lot of price differentials in the country in different sectors. Two, in terms of ICT, give some kind of incentive for the youth.
We are hoping that the government can do something, a lot of intervention in such a way that the citizens are going to have a good time.
In addition to having a safe and unified front and subsidy removal, experts also lend their voices, stating that considering the huge debt profile of the nation, there is need for government to take necessary advantage of potentials in Lagos by blocking all leakages and other illicit financial flows, ensure the ease of doing business and deepen investment opportunities.
When we build residential houses, everyone needs a place to live. Everyone needs a place to work. Increasingly, it's their house, and people need houses.
And so, without electricity, there is no thriving economy.
I think it's legacy. If everybody will do their bit to make sure that when they leave office, they leave it better than they met it.
As the saying goes, Rome was not built in a day. Experts also believe that the path to economic recovery has begun, and matching words with action will translate to a vibrant future for Nigeria and her citizens.
Nigeria must take advantage of the power of technology to find innovative solutions that can help the country join the fourth industrial revolution. Director General National Space Research and Development Agency Dr. Halilu Shaba said this at the 2023 Hackathon in Abuja.
Technologies and innovative ideas, but also to foster collaboration, inspire creativity, and explore groundbreaking solutions.
By embracing these domains, we aim to unlock new frontiers of knowledge and transform our industries.
And so we'll move to the capital market, where the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) says Nigeria has various commodities that could be exported in the bid to grow the country's economy, provide jobs, as well as provide the nation with foreign exchange earnings. The Commission, in a statement signed by the Director General of SEC, Lamido Yuguda, said the agricultural sector in the country is expected to grow significantly in the near future. He added that in its desire to ensure that agricultural produce is of exportable standards and quality, the Commission is collaborating with the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, to develop standards of commodities. As a result of the collaboration with SON, he noted some of the standards have been developed and exposed to different markets close by, and they have well been received. He added that the development of these standards will pave the way for the export of these products to the international market and in turn boost the Nigerian economy. And still with the market, the Nigerian exchange closed negative at the end of Wednesday's trading session. The All Share Index traded 0.02% lower to close at 56,024.52 index points as against 56,038.85 index points recorded in the previous day's trading session. 397.62 million volume of shares valued at 6.54 billion exchanged hands in 5,613 deals. The market capitalization of equities depreciated by 8 billion naira to close at 30.505 trillion naira, a 0.02% marginal loss compared to the 30.513 trillion naira recorded in the previous trading session. Well, those are the opening figures, and we move to the global market, and Boss Abel is our guide.
Seems to be in a holding pattern while awaiting the Federal Reserve's policy meeting on June 13 and 14. Economic signs suggest that inflation is inching downward, even though it remains above the central bank's 2% target. However, European stocks opened marginally lower Thursday as global markets appeared hesitant and lacking in direction. Asia markets slipped as Wall Street saw a pause in its market rally, and the broad market index fluctuated near its highest closing levels since August 2022. Investors in the region also further accessed economic data that has been released this week. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 extended its slide from Wednesday in a volatile session and fell 0.85% to end at 31,641.27. The Shanghai Composite climbed 0.45% and the Shenzhen Composite saw a larger loss of 0.11%. Stock futures in the US were flat on Wednesday evening as investors await the next market catalyst. Futures linked to the S&P 500 ticked up by 0.01%. Nasdaq 100 futures also inched up by 0.01%, while futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 12 points or 0.04%. Most African stocks are still maintaining previous figures, while South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia's overall index resumed red. Bosede Ebo, Business Express.
Thank you, Boss, and this is where we end this edition of the program. Don't forget, we value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. And of course, watch out for the numbers as the nation tries to adjust to the fuel subsidy removal, what it means for your financing, what it means for your everyday life. Pay attention to the numbers and the data that will be coming out from next week from the National Bureau of Statistics so that you can plan adequately. The program returns Friday at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Katung, Babatunde, signing out this morning and saying God bless Nigeria.